It's the Indie Horror Junkie Podcast, your source for anything and everything indie horror. Here's your host, Otis B. Dreads.
What's going on?
Oh, how you doing, little Donna?
So Otis is under the weather tonight. So welcome to Wednesday, the Indie Horror Junkie Podcast. I'm Asylum Amy, joined by Big Kahuna himself, Rotting Ricky D. What's going on this week in the Indie Horror Junkie world?
Well, let's see. We just got the magazine for issue number 8 finalized. I went ahead and sent it off to the printer. It's being shipped to me tomorrow, so I should have copies in my hot little hands by Friday or Saturday, the latest. And of course, it'll go live on the website on the 13th and go live for sale on the 13th as well, but I'll have them in advance. We also have a couple of events. Well, really one major event coming up, which is the one that we're doing in April.
Yes.
That I'm very excited about. Death Becomes Them. That's going to be here in Tampa, and it's going to have some horror authors there, special photo ops and stuff. It's going to be at the Brass Mug in Tampa, so definitely look it up on our webpage and our Facebook page, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And that's a horror burlesque show.
Yeah, they call it horror-lesque.
Horror-lesque. Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, we're definitely excited about that. They're going to have vendors. The Indie Horror Junkies are going to be there. We're a proud sponsor of the event, so very excited for that. And Absolutely. What's up, Doug? And speaking of issue number 8 on the cover, we have Peter Anthony. He's going to be promoting his upcoming feature film, Laugh.
Very excited.
Also in issue number 8 is writer, director, producer Richard Harlost, who's going to be joining us tonight. And he's our guest. He's going to be promoting his upcoming anthology, Deadly Endings.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Can't wait to talk to him.
That as well. So before we bring him out, let's go ahead and roll out one of his previous projects. We have a trailer from The Overnight.
This could be fun, right? Little adventure, spontaneous excitement.
Welcome to Monroe Manor. I am Salim.
Could you sit me up?
You look stunning.
Just wait till tonight.
Te invoco, o Satana, Re del Convito.
What have I done?
Spiri, o Satana.
This place gives me the creeps.
Ginsens I voti.
Come play with us. Come play with us forever.
We have a problem.
Jesse, we have to leave.
Oh my God.
Now. Salim? Is that you?
I'll see you in hell.
Very nice work.
Wow. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Richard. What's going on?
You. Thanks. Not much. Just trying to survive this like sausage I just ate before the show. it's hammering on me right now.
Oh man, well you got an hour. So you're gonna have to suck it up.
Yeah. I didn't want you to hear my stomach growling and think that there's demons over here.
We already know that there's demons in your house and in your head, which
there really is
why you're on the show, because you're
really
writing all about it, and we want to hear everything, and we want to talk about. Well, first of all, that was an incredible trailer. That's one of your previous projects, The Overnight, but we're here to talk about Deadly Endings.
Let's do it.
So let's get into it. Deadly Endings is a horror anthology. You're going to be filming June in Connecticut. You have an incredible cast. We'll get into that. But tell us a little bit about Deadly Endings, the concept behind it, how it originated.
The concept behind it. Yeah. Well, like, like sometimes, when I'm not writing a feature, I'll have like an idea for something that is just like a concept that, I just think is amazing. So like I had a few concepts that I wrote into a short thinking that, okay, I'll do these shorts at some point in time. But then I just realized that making shorts, for me anyway, is just like a complete waste of time, because you're going through all the same headaches that you would for like a feature. You're better off just having something that's marketable. Right. But the stories that I had were just really compelling, especially actually like two of them. There's 3 segments in there. There's one called Side Effects. There's one called One Last Shot, and the other is called The Package. One Last Shot and The Package were both something that I already had. So I had to actually go forward and write Side Effects just to kind of get 3 in there. But they were something that I just thought was like a really, really unique concept. I don't want to spoil it, and say what the concept is, because I believe that it's something that hasn't really been done before, not that I haven't seen, and most of the people involved have not seen anything similar to that.
Cool.
I would have to agree.
Glue them all together.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of reading this script, and I have to say the writing is one of the most exciting scripts I've read in a long time. It's just all about human nature and internal and external struggles, and I can't wait for everybody to hear more about this and to see more about this. So I know that we're a few months out from you actually filming, but where can people kind of keep up with what you have going on right now on social?
Well, I'm on Instagram. Shameless self-hype right there at Richard Harlost, if they're able to see my name there. That's my Instagram handle. Richard Diesel for Facebook. Those are primarily the only places that I'm on. I think I have Twitter X or whatever. I think I posted once in the past year, so I'm not really on there that much. But mainly Instagram. I post some things on there, and Facebook, obviously.
Yeah, you guys are very active, Facebook, Instagram. So if you guys want to keep up with all the pre-production and what's going on, that's definitely where you want to head. Speaking of what's coming up, you guys have an Indiegogo campaign that's launching on March 1st. What can you tell the audience about that? Okay,
we have some like good perks. Like the same mentality that I have when writing, like where I'm trying to like always develop something new. I obviously wanted to bring something new to the perks that, people don't normally get. Everyone gets the coffee mug, so we have that on there for those people that want the mug or the hoodie, and stuff. But one of the ideas that I had, which was probably the best perk that everyone just drools over, and they're like, oh my god, that's such a great idea, is that we're actually going to go live like while we film. We're going to have people that purchase the perk be able to zoom right in and watch us direct and go through what we do on set for about an hour or so. They're live. So that's probably like one of the perks that really stands out. There's some of the actors that have donated some of their props or memorabilia from other things. I know Felissa Rose is donating a signed poster from Sleepaway Camp. And I think there's like a few other things from cast that is getting donated from other things, not this, but also we'll have the merch and autographs and everything going out, for this one too.
All the bells and whistles. Well, speaking of Felissa, you have an incredible cast lined up. Felissa Rose, Mark Patton, Nick Principe, Elsie Holt. It's a combination of classic horror icons with a blend of up and coming indie horror actors that are really just hustling and working their tails off in the industry right now. So tell us about some of the cast and who you've worked with and who you're excited to work with.
I've worked with Dan. Out of all of them, I've worked with Daniel John Kearney before on Bloodfly, which I'm in talks with distribution channels right now. He was great and everything. And when he was introduced the script through a mutual friend, and that's how kind of like him and I reconnected again. And when he got the script, originally he was only reading to be an actor in it. He was very busy starting to produce. He's producing numerous projects. And when he read it, he just was like, I want to be, like, I got to produce this. I got to make sure that this can be, the best that it can be. And he was really crucial on pulling a lot of the actors together. And the good thing is a lot of them already have that rapport with each other because they've been in other projects together. So that's going to make it a lot easier on set, like their chemistry is already there.
Oh my gosh, that makes the biggest difference. And Rick and I can attest to that because we work a lot with the same actors and the same crew. And you kind of learn who you can rely on and who you can trust and who's going to show up and who's going to deliver. We were kind of in the pre-show talking about some of the cast between Wes Robinson and Anna Clary and Elsie Holt and how they've worked together on numerous other projects. So it's really cool to see everybody kind of coming together again. It's going to be like a big reunion.
And also behind
fun,
like behind the scenes, the producers, like a lot of the producers that I'm talking to now, like pulling it together.
Yeah,
we're just like Jaron Lewis is the cinematographer on this, and him and Wes is doing some behind the scenes stuff, and we're just vibing really good, like lots of laughs and stuff. So I hope we keep that to a minimal when we're filming, just so we can get through
good
yeah, because there's just really good chemistry already starting to happen amongst the people pulling the thing together. So
that's a beautiful thing. That's so important for the culture when you're on set and everybody wants a chill, friendly set. There's honestly nothing better than that. And Jaron, he's wearing multiple hats. He's directing, co-directing, cinematographer, editor.
Yeah.
So he's all over the place.
Right.
Everybody's doing multiple jobs on this. And that's indie horror movies for you, right?
In a nutshell.
Yeah. Especially, like the people that want to succeed, they don't sit there and complain and go, oh, well, that's not my job, or, like whatever. It's like, dude, if you believe in it, like you're going to give blood for this, Yep. And pretty much everyone on pun intended, but like everyone on this has been of that mentality. I mean, everyone's just been super great, super, productive, and with a great attitude.
Very cool.
I know we don't want to give too much away about the project. It's still so far out, but what can the audience expect from Deadly Endings? What do you think they're going to feel?
Okay. Now, as I said, like
I want you to really get into it without giving it away.
I didn't rehearse this part.
I mean, look at this poster. There's so many
that was done by
right
Police Calzado. He's, I believe, in like Honduras or Argentina or something like that. He's he does a lot of comic book design. So he came highly recommended. And pretty much if you're looking at the poster, it kind of maps out some of the scenes that are in the movie. So you can figure out a little bit of what's going on. Obviously, it's a conglomeration of all three of the stories. And yeah, he just did amazing work.
And these are all the demons
I'm so
in your
impressed.
head, Richard, right here on this poster.
Well, that guy don't scare me. No, that's what I look like when I'm like got writer's block.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's going to be, I think, as you mentioned, the writing. I don't like to like toot my own horn when people say stuff. I kind of get like a little uneasy because I just look at myself as just one moving piece of many moving pieces, and I just had that task to do. But I really just try to pride myself on writing some original thing, whether it's the content or it's hard to kind of try to develop a new way for someone to get killed. It's been done so many times for so many years. So it's more or less like how you show it and add a little bit to that. So I think the originality of it is what I'm really hoping that people will gravitate to and learn to love.
And you're a big fan of like the old school, like Creepshow and Twilight.
Yeah, I love that shit.
We all do. But when you and I were talking earlier about inspirations, those came up, and after reading the script and then hearing that, you really come from a place of originality and what's true to you. And you had this Bruce Lee quote that you shared.
Yeah, and I'll probably screw it up because did you go look it up?
I looked it up. I did.
I told you make sure I don't mess this up. Yeah. So he has this quote, and I pretty much think it's like an amazing quote. that applies to anybody trying to better, certain aspects of their life, whether they're writing or just, working out or whatever, and the quote is, take what works, disregard or get rid of what doesn't work, and then make it your own, like your own, I mean, there's not anybody out there reinventing horror that comes along too often. And it's usually like, if it's a slasher, okay, well, how is that slasher? It works, right? The slasher thing works. So you're going to take it and say, okay, what doesn't work with that, or what's getting out of date? Get rid of it, and then make it your own flavor, make it your own style, so that everyone goes, oh, that's Richard's style, or that's, Wes Craven or whatever. So like that quote there is pretty much like my motto, like, like how can I, like, what works, what doesn't work, get rid of what doesn't work, and then make it my own, and every once in a while you may, invent something, where you reinvented horror for, like Freddy Krueger or something like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, and I love that quote. So I even put that quote in the article in the magazine. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and this is going to come out, like we said, issue number 8 of the Indie Horror Junkie magazine. That's dropping on March 13th. So you guys are going to get a little bit more information about this project. One of the things I'm excited about with Deadly Endings to see is the practical special effects. I know that you guys have brought on special effects artist Robert, and how do you say his last name? Is
Bravo.
Bravo. Yeah. So, sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting there for a minute.
Just those nails.
I know. But have you worked with Robert before?
I haven't, but he came very, very highly regarded by Felissa.
He just hopped off a project. I noticed that. So he's definitely.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen his work and stuff, and it looks great. And his enthusiasm, he just wants to get in there. And I told him earlier today. I said, we changed one thing in the script, one minor, thing. So you have it a little bit easier. And he's like, no, don't make it easy for me. And I said, all right, like, it's on then, I want to see what you can do, impress us. So, he's ready to rip.
I can't wait to see what he does, because I'm just such a big fan for practical special effects. I probably one of my favorite things about indie horror, actually, just watching.
Yeah. It definitely has a different feel. It has a different feel,
So, well, what else are you working on? What's in the pipeline?
Okay, like in the pipeline. Okay, like oddly enough, this weekend coming up, like I'm already going to stake out a haunted building. So I was approached by a gentleman that wants to do kind of like a haunted, like ghost hunters type of thing. Okay. And, but knowing that my best friend is a voodoo priest of over 30 years, it is called voodoo paranormal. So as opposed to people going in there with a priest and, the power of Christ compels you, type of thing. And, or going in there with the psychic saying, no, I feel bad energy over here, and stuff like that. We actually have the voodoo priest who will use his tools to actually encourage something to happen. But then depending on what the owner of the establishment wants, either look to rectify the matter, dampen it down, get rid of it, or whatever. So that's what we're going in to scout this weekend. And, it's called Voodoo Paranormal. So we're going to be doing a pilot soon.
Holy cow. And is that going to be, so that's going to be a episodic?
Yes.
Web series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the formats that we want to do as well, like after the first one is out, the pilot, we want to start incorporating some of the people in the horror community that do the horror films to actually come hang out and stay there for the night, with the voodoo priest as well. And, yeah, it's just a good dynamic. Oh yeah, you'll be on there. We'll get you in there.
Oh my god!
An Indie Horror Junkie exclusive live.
Oh my
yeah, you guys show
We're
up.
bringing the holy water.
Yeah, so we got all the bells and whistles. We got all those, like the ball that glows if something energetic goes near it or whatever, and
wow.
night vision and everything. Yeah, we're getting all the stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
And speaking of voodoo,
Mhm.
we're gonna have you back in a few weeks. We don't want to give too much away, but you're gonna have a special guest with you then. You want to give
I think you
everybody
almost kind of gave it away.
just a little tease. Just a
Well,
little
it's literally 3 seconds after I just said that. And you're,
Yep.
am I right? Am I right?
Pretty
Ricky?
much.
Right?
Pretty
Like,
much.
Well, I want to get everybody excited about it because I'm excited about it. You
Yeah.
and I have talked quite a bit about this over several different conversations.
Yeah, my
but
friend,
just a quick tease.
we were actually like roommates for like I think 6 or 7 years. So I got to experience a lot of weird things. His bedroom was like down the hall from me, but his spiritual room was right next to me. So that was like the room where he would perform, like the rituals. I mean, it's going to sound darker than it is because of people's mentality of thinking what voodoo is according to movies and everything.
Right.
And sometimes it is a little bit weird like that. But I remember just, I'd have a girl over and she'd be like, something just walked across the hall, and it wasn't me, like they would see stuff, hear
ladies,
things.
man.
Yeah, it was interesting, having that. And I had some very interesting dreams, like when he was my roommate. But yeah, he's one hell of a guy. That's for sure.
I can't wait to meet him. I have so many questions about that, but I want to hold off on them until the actual show when we have him on.
Yeah.
That'll be a blast.
Oh man. So Rick and Richard, Rick from director, what questions do you have for Richard?
Well, for you, first off, I guess would be, when did you first get into filmmaking? When did the filmmaking bug bite you? How did that happen?
It started, there was like a process to it. And originally I was like a bouncer at a bar, right? Mm-hmm. And I was a bouncer for like a few years, and I had a lot of stories, and I would tell like great stories about like fights or weird stuff that happened with girls or whatever, and people were like, you got to write this down. You got to write this down. So I wrote it down, and it was like a big, like manifesto. Like, I'm trying to think what I named it. It was something stupid. Like, and I passed it around to all my friends, and it got a good result, and, I tried to get it in someplace. And then at some point something said like, there wasn't even like a trigger. Like I was like, oh, I'd like to, it just came out of nowhere, write like a movie. But originally I did a comedy. And when I handed it to somebody, which was a beautiful young lady, she thought it was hilarious. And we ended up dating for many years. Right. But then after that, I just got into horror because I kind of got drawn back to it because of, I like the thinking man's horror. I like the what if, something a little bit more. Because of the Twilight Zone and stuff, and it just, that lured me back in, to tell a tale, but have a message with it, and,
Mm-hmm.
Like the severity of the implications of what somebody does or doesn't do,
Mm-hmm.
In that regard, like just drew me into it. So that's what kind of, I went like literally from that comedy script, like right into the horror. Like,
nice. Now, as far as the other films that you've got, like we saw the trailer for The Overnight, as well, which really looked very, very good. Where can we see something like that? What are you using as far as distribution goes?
Oh, the Overnight was distributed by Vertical Entertainment. So I believe it's on many of the streaming channels right now. It's on Amazon. Tubi. We had a 2-year contract. I don't think that's up. I'm not sure if that's if we're going to extend that or not. It was on Apple TV and stuff. So if somebody goes and, I just had someone today, like bring it up on their phone and turn it, and they're like, is that your movie? And I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So I don't know what they had on their phone, like where they looked at it, but it's easy to find that one. The other one I did, Bloodfly, which I produced and directed and wrote, is more kind of like a teenager vampire movie. And working on that, my intention was to have it be kind of, it was a horror, obviously. But, people thought, like some of my people on set, my sound guy particularly was like, dude, I think this is a comedy. I don't know that this is a horror, because, my belief is that in all, when you're in the middle of something, you know, and even if it's something dark and scary or whatever, there's always those moments of comedy, you know, like like either to create like a brevity or to like a breath of air, or to try to
Break the
trick
tension.
yourself into this shit ain't that serious. Let me try to fool myself into thinking it ain't, so I don't crap my pants, you know, like that's kind of like, you know, where it, you know, where my mentality is on like trying to like push something like that, is just to, you know, have that, you know,
comedic undertone.
yeah, like you just want to kind of like almost try to fool yourself. So, but also in life, everything's a fucking joke until you're ready to get your head chopped off, right? Like, so it's like, what's the line in The Crow? It's like childhood's over the moment you know you're gonna die, or some shit like that. Like the guy says, Jeff Wincott says, you know. So in that movie, there was a very good rapport with all of the kids that were in that. They were all like in their early 20s and shit. I put them all in a Airbnb, so they were like drinking all my fucking liquor when I wasn't there, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And they had a real good chemistry. So like it came out on set, and there was a lot of jokes and stuff, and I just let it be what it had to be, you know. I mean, they're 20-year-old kids. They're gonna fuck around and make jokes, you know, until they start getting slaughtered, you know. So,
Another question,
I always kind of throw some comedy in there, which Amy
Oh,
can
yeah.
attest to.
I love that. And that's pretty much the general theme nowadays anyway with that. But another question that I've got, since this is in the horror junkie, and we have a lot of filmmakers and actors and actresses in the indie horror scene looking at this, how do you, as far as when you make your films, how do you go about getting your funding? I mean, because is there something like
well, it depends. Like the weird thing is the first one I did, I actually had an investor that threw in like close to $500,000. Wow. And you know, that, like, I just look at it like you just start the process and just hold on to your ass that it's gonna like work out. I mean, I don't think you sit there and just wait for shit to happen. I think you have to be active and let things kind of like, you know, like when you're active, something chases you, right? Like if you're just sitting there, you're like, oh, that guy's just sitting on the fucking couch. I'll go get him, but he's not going anywhere, you know. But you just start the process. So like with that, there was actually an actor that referred me, you know, to the investor, and for the overnight, and he couldn't come to terms with me. He tried to bring in some other director guy, and the guy was just a big time asshole, and he couldn't come to terms with me on the phone. So I was like, dude, fuck off. Like, you know, we're done. And then he came back. I said, you know what, we'll do this movie in my town. And I'm like, let the investor know. And he goes, I don't want to go back. I said, give me his number. It's on for me. So like I went and I pulled the whole thing together. You know, I don't like hearing no. I think that's an excuse, you know, and stuff. So with that one, that's how that one went down. On Bloodfly, I self-funded it. And this one here, Deadly Endings, we have investors, as well as we're going to do the crowdfunding. So it's like I've done all three different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
None of them are fun.
No, none of them. That's the worst part really for everybody.
Problems, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
with crowdfunding, you know, that's a smart thing to do after you've already established yourself, you know, with everybody around you, that, you know, you are able to produce these high-end quality projects. And so then you start to get that following, and people are paying attention to your work. And that's what intrigues people to, you know, want to be a part of that. And there's so many people that maybe they're not an actor or they're not a director and they can't write, but they just love the genre. They live and bleed the genre, and they just want to be a part of it. And this is a great way to get involved and be a part of something that you love. And that's what I love about it.
That's what I love about it too. is, you know, like they get involved in, you know, like today it's, you know, you see your idols on TV, and that's about as close as you get to them. You know what I mean? Like you know, you might travel 5,000 miles to try to get an autograph, and they just like overlook you, and you know, whatever. But like with here, you could actually get, you know, some used props, you know, some autographs that you wouldn't normally get, numerous autographs all on the same poster, you know, and actually become, you know, part of it, you know. So the perks definitely do that. That was the intent.
Yeah, that's the big thing to me because Indiegogos and the Kickstarters and this and that, they're so flooded with movies these days. So really to separate yourself, first thing is you want to try and have a reputation for putting out good products because people want to get
Oh,
invested.
that's above all. That's
above all, yeah, because they
yeah,
want to see
I mean,
a
the
good
thing
return.
is, I think people that think that like the money is like, oh, let's go make this and make it for the money. It's like, no, like you don't sell, a bag of shit and say, hey, we're going to get rich off of this. You sell a good cookie or something, so you have to have something that people are going to love. The money will take care of itself when the product is amazing. So
Right.
like, people that are thinking about the money first are thinking about the wrong damn thing.
Right, exactly. But also the other biggest thing too is the perks, making sure that you get good quality perks, especially unique perks like you're talking
Yeah.
about. I mean, going live on the set and getting people, a glimpse into the making of a horror movie. I mean, that's the kind of cool stuff that would attract somebody like myself. So I know it would
Yeah.
attract a lot of other people too.
And somebody just mentioned like what directors do I like? I definitely like Tarantino. I think is great. I love Stanley Kubrick as well. Those are big ones. Antoine Fuqua is
Yep.
good. Yeah. Not really horror directors, but I just like their style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. I'm right now saying,
Come on, Amy. Keep them
No,
coming.
going
Yeah.
back to the Indiegogo, I keep in touch and network with a lot of other producers. And one of the same questions I always find myself asking them is what got you into producing? And this is one of the main things I love about the indie horror community is it's really that simple. People just want to feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah.
And they want to be involved in whatever way that they can. But what's cool about it is that people are slowly, getting involved. And then you see them, all these producers working together and helping out other productions. And it just becomes like a family almost. And obviously you have new people coming in and out, but I do see a lot of producers that are working together on multiple indie horror films. And, like they're not actors, they're not writers, but they just really want to be a part of something that maybe, like you said, their favorite actor or actress is in, or somebody they've been following, or they've been, just big fans of horror movies their entire lives. And this is their way to feel like being a part of it is tangible. So, I guess as the indie horror junkie theme is, I love that because that's what we're all about is bringing everybody together. It's a sense of community. And indie horror really does have so much to offer when it comes to that between the cons and the Indiegogos and the magazines and the podcasts. There's so many different ways to get involved with this close knit community of just indie horror lovers. So me personally, I love seeing different people hopping on different projects and just being a part of it in that way.
Yeah, it is cool, and it is just from some of the actors that that have already experienced working with each other.
Exactly.
You definitely see that it's like it is family, like it.
really is.
They speak highly of each other. Oh, someone said very well said, Amy. Look at
That's
that.
Otis in the green room. Otis is not feeling well.
Oh, that's Otis. Okay.
Yeah, that's Otis.
I thought it was like random people. So it's Otis. Yes.
Well, not just Otis.
Okay.
There's been a
Otis,
few other
give
people
us
that are
the
chiming in.
thumbs up.
Yeah. And Otis, if we've got
good.
people in the chats with questions, go ahead and bring them out. We'd love to talk to him tonight because we know that people are just looking to connect and talk to Richard and just hear about indie horror filmmaking. So when it comes to deadly endings, what has been your biggest hurdle so far in the process?
Good question. Good one, Amy. That's
You
a
like
good one.
that? You like
Yes,
that?
I like that. Probably making sure that I would say that it's like the time in the management of what we have to do in the time limit is definitely something. I mean, like, I've had to go back to the script a few times and just make sure that it wasn't overbearing, for locations or, or the effects, it is so effects driven, so practical effects driven. And, Robert Bravo was up to the task, but, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like, he's in the laboratory, 24/7, getting no sleep, and he looks like the zombie. So we just put his ass in the film too, because we're screwing him up. you know, so I would say that was probably like one of the concerns, like definitely the process of just, you know, cutting out the fat, you know, of the script and, you know, making it manageable, you know, so that we can deliver the best product that we can.
And how many days are you projected to film this project over?
18 days, fun
Okay,
filled
that's a
days.
nice
Yeah.
rounded out number. I like that. So that gives you enough time to, you know, you're getting everything done, but the crew isn't dying from 18-hour days. You can
Yeah, I
get a
was
lot
hoping
done
that
in
I could direct my segment first so that I could just loaf the rest of the time and just kind of like, you know, be the superhero that as needed, if they needed me, just like run onto the set and, you know, but I think now I'm filming mine last, which I'll be, you know, maybe a little worn out, maybe, but I'll still deliver. I'm not
We'll
worried.
just stop you around a little bit.
Yeah, nothing's worse than like little story, because that's what you guys like, is the stories. So on Bloodfly, there was like the hotel that everyone was staying in when we first got there. They fucked something up, right? Like, and then we had like a couple people bring like their girlfriend with them, which wasn't supposed to happen. And
Like the cast and the crew.
yeah, so the first 2 days I slept on a concrete floor. And I had like no blanket. I only got 5 hours sleep. I had to go into the bathroom and take all the towels, and you know, I was like, yeah, it was like horrible, man. Like in you know, it was like almost like it. Well, it was in summer, but that concrete, man, was pulling all the heat out of my body. I was like fucked up for like 2 days. It was no fun. But you know, like it didn't, like I still had my energy and everything, because like I'm one of those people that think that like if you're doing what you love, like you get almost like an extra battery for it, you know, like it's like it doesn't wear you out like you're doing something that you hate. You know, you could do something you hate for 3-4 hours and be like, this sucks, like I'm ready to jump off a fucking cliff, you know, or you could do something you love for like 15 hours and still be okay. That was me. You know, so like I made it.
We can
through.
all relate to that with filming.
Yeah. Like
so
when you're doing what
excited,
you love,
there's
you
so
just
much adrenaline and passion behind what it is that you're
100%.
doing, and everybody's focused on the same end goal. And it's like, whatever we have to do to get there, we're going to do it. As long as I can get, you know, 4 to 5 hours of sleep and stay hydrated, like I'm game. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck I did it.
It was crazy. You know, there's just that part of yourself that you just pull it together and you get it done. And we've all been there. We've all done the, you know, 18-hour days. And Rick and I filmed the clock in 5 days.
Yeah, like, you know, like there's no preparing for that. Like you always at least do one of those 18-hour fucking days. It's like a rite of passage or some shit. It's like you haven't directed shit until you did the 24-hour marathon filming, you know.
You just do it. I think I got the script exactly 14 days before we filmed. And then we filmed in this historic home in Brooksville, and it was haunted, and the owner was nice enough to let us use her home as an entire set. It was basically a character in the film. But she's like, okay, you got 5 days, let's do it in 5 days. And we just did it. And it took everybody pulling it together and everybody's focus and, you know, just determined to do the best possible job that we can do and keep everybody going around you and encouraging and just working together as a team. And if you have a great solid crew like you have with the cast and the crew and the people that you've worked with, and those people have all worked with each other, like that energy on set is so important. Like for me, there's nothing more comforting and exciting than walking onto a set and just hugging people, because like, you know them, they're your family, you know the director, you know the cinematographer, you've worked with these people on 3 films, and then you have the actors who are just bouncing off of each other. Their energy is insane because they know how each other works and they know that they can rely on each other as scene partners, and they're just feeding off of each other, and that's where the magic happens. So I'm really excited about this cast because
the
crew,
like,
that's what you guys have going on.
Your hugs would knock people out of their character. Like they take 30 minutes to get into a focus and then just come in, hey,
get ready. Know, yeah.
Hey John, how you doing?
And, like, and everything. It's just like a growl.
That's right.
Like what are the cats?
She comes out of the shadows, you know, with the hug.
Yeah, I'm the middle of the night cat. Like you think it's calm, and then the next thing you know, you're getting
good to know.
You're looking up at the ceiling because I've slammed you down with a hug. When are
So
you
you-
doing a work of when you're doing a work of passion, your energy limit increases, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I would
definitely,
agree with
man.
that 1000%.
100%.
So you said you're doing an 18-day, you're basically setting an 18-day shoot. Is this going to be 18 straight, or
No,
you staggering it out, or
man.
how's it working?
You want me all messed up like Otis? Like, I can't do that. No, we're gonna go like I think the one that's the most effects driven is going to be side effects. So like we're going 6 on that, then a day off, then 5, then day off, 5.
Okay.
Very reasonable.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I know we're talking about horror, and I know that you've mentioned, you love that comedic undertone in your work. Can we talk about some of your
Yes.
comedy you have coming up?
Yeah. There's this character I do that's like a pimp and is like kind of like just
I'm so mad I don't have the picture
he
to show
never
right
gets
now.
anything right. Yeah, it's like the misunderstood, thinks he's way better than he is guy. And I've been pressured because like I did it just to screw around once. And my buddy, the voodoo priest, loves it. And he's been digging into my ass and cursing me out for 3 years that I didn't do more with that character. I have another buddy of mine that he used to do movies in the 80s. And, he's, still like with me, hanging around like, my buddy. And he just is like, you got to fucking do that. He even made a shirt. Like I went to go get a button up shirt a few weeks ago. And he gets up and he starts walking away. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like we went out for a drink. And I'm like, he's walking like weird, like just like, like he had to fart or something. Like, I'm like, where the fuck is this guy going?
I'll be right back.
yeah. He just like starts like mid conversation, just starts walking away. Right?
Processing the bar.
So I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? So I'm like watching, and then he just turned. He was unbuttoning his one shirt, and then he turns around, and there's my fucking face like this big. Is the pimp with this pompadour.
And there's your next Indiegogo perk right there.
It was I'm not gonna lie, it was a beautiful
I will buy
shirt.
one.
It was beautiful. I'll show you the picture. We took a picture of it. I'll show you.
And so is that going to be episodic, web series, short?
We had a meeting on it actually last night, and that's why I have a headache today from the drinks that I had. Like I only had 2 drinks, man. I'm such a weakling. I'm like a mortal man.
We're just getting up there.
Like I'm like my liver. I'm like maybe I should get a freaking like ultrasound of my liver. Is it still there? Like how can I not filter out
diverticulitis kicking in?
Yeah, like what's going on? so we had a meeting on it last night, and then about like the direction. So I think what we're going to do is do it as a series, but also get some content while we have the actors for that day to just, because I have so much content. It's like, okay, we'll do a couple little skits and then get a piece of what we really need and then just piece it together. So it's kind of like a passion project. And it's also to get my 2 buddies off my ass.
And lots of different, like a variety of characters. Very
It's like every degenerate. It's like every degenerate that you can fricking think of, like, from people that just repeatedly borrow money to like pimps that like, and the funny thing is what inspired like this character is I have a buddy of mine that, he's an eye doctor, but he had to do his residency down in New York City, right? For like in the fucking ER of New York City. Right. So he would come back home and I would say, what's like the craziest shit that, everybody always asks, what's the craziest shit anywhere? What's the craziest shit you've seen in Walmart? Or what's the craziest shit you've seen in your backyard? So like everyone's got like, what's the craziest thing? So I hit him up with that. And he's like, well, there was this pimp that was like, fucking, the guy was paralyzed, but he was still pimping from the fucking chair. And I'm like, he was still like, how is that effective? And I go, how did he get paralyzed? He goes, one of his hoes stabbed him. But like and paralyzed him, but he's still pimping. But so I'm like just thinking like, man, that pimp gets no love, man. like just total like he maybe he should have chose another career. Like if so I just thought it would be funny if it was like a pimp where his hoes are always getting the best of him. Like he's they're smarter than him and everything. And, so that's kind of like a little bit.
Please tell me you're writing this character.
But I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. Fuck that. No. I'll still be mobile, walking around.
Yeah. It reminds me of this movie called Hustle and Flow. They had a song in there they sang called "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp."
Oh, I love that.
I can see that.
It's my wedding song.
So speaking of craziest things that have happened, what is one of the craziest things that's happened to you on set of any film that you can
On
recall?
set,
In any aspect, good,
probably-
bad.
yeah, probably the one, you know, when we were doing, well, shit, I'm trying to think, like, was there a crazy thing? Well, that I don't want to say because it makes me look bad.
Oh,
Tell it.
Nah,
Come
it
on.
was I had an
Prove it.
issue. I had an issue. Okay, on Bloodfly, I had an issue with the makeup guy. Okay, and me, I'm like, I loved. When I love you, you know, and I'm gonna fucking protect you, and I'm gonna get in front of you, you know, and protect you. So I had a makeup artist. I actually went through 3 freaking makeup artists on there, and the one was just a piece of crap, you know. So we had a younger girl that was one of the actresses. He made her cry because he was very kind of overbearing, and other people kept coming to me having an issue with this individual. And I eventually had enough of it, and it was like his last night before he was supposed to go back to New York City, and I kind of tossed my wallet over because, like, I had to book him a room, and I tossed my wallet over, you know, to my then girlfriend, and I said, "Go on Yelp and find the shittiest fucking place where people are getting stabbed and there's roaches and everything else, and book them in that shit."
It's where the pimp of the wheelchair lives. You should have got that address.
Yeah, no, it should have scouted the location. Yeah, so that was that, but that's just me being protective of the people I care about, you know. And he was a shit, and everybody, you know. I mean, I don't like talking about, like, you know, like people in the industry, but you got me too, so that's a plus for your show.
well done, Amy.
Yeah, but I mean, but on the overnight, there was many things that were kind of like crazy because one of the producers on that brought in his wife to co-write, and you know, my buddy, you know, the voodoo priest there, he was actually staying as a resident in the hotel at that time because we had a restaurant there, and everything that she changed in my script because she deemed it too dark, like a little bit, like she goes, "Oh, this is too scary." I'm like, "It's a fucking horror movie. Like, what do you want? Like, it's supposed to be." So everything went wrong, or like just fucked up on set. Like, I mean, like, and it was so weird. It was like, it was almost like a movie in itself, because it was like whatever she changed in the script, we would just watch it on set fuck up. Like, there was something in the elevator, and the elevator snapped, the fucking cable snapped, and probably could have killed somebody.
Oh my gosh.
You know, yeah, I think it's like a five or six story building, maybe. Yeah, that was weird. You know, that thing breaking. Luckily, nobody was in it at the time. And there is a ghost in that. The room that they stay in, the couple stays in, was room 13, I think, on the first floor. And repeated people, when they would stay at the hotel, would get stories about, or testimony that something, get this, was massaging their feet late at night. So
I need to know what this hotel is. I could really.
Yeah, there's like a foot fetish ghost in there. Yeah.
How come no fetish massaging ghosts come to my house?
I don't know.
That's a whole different movie, you guys.
It's so weird though, right? Like, why would the ghost just keep rubbing feet?
Nothing freaky, just a foot rub and then
But
get
that
out.
place, it was
He
a
used to work at a
hotel,
shoe store,
but
probably.
originally it was the old courthouse in jail, like in 1890 or whatever. So in the 70s they switched it into a hotel. So that place was haunted, under, like, where you see in the trailer where the rug flips over.
Yeah.
In the that was like in the lobby. If you lift that rug, there's metal doors there that went into this underground chamber where there was like old shackles still in a tunnel that went all the way underground to the new courthouse that was sealed off.
My.
Yeah, it was.
And how did you guys learn about that?
Because the owners, because we had the restaurant. Yeah, we had the restaurant in there, and the manager's like, "Oh, there's a, you know, like a hidden passageway, like from here to the new courthouse, like on the other side of the street."
Did you go down there?
No, my buddy did, the voodoo man. Like he
I was going to say, is that where you held the after party?
Yeah, because I went home
down there with my iPhone.
No, I would have. I wanted to. Like, but they ended up going
you
in
were
there
too scared, weren't you?
late at night.
Yeah.
Like, I already went home.
I
went home. I didn't even know about it until my buddy was telling me the next day that they went there, and then the manager like turned around halfway and like ran out of there, like when he started going under the tunnel. So, yeah,
I like
weird.
it.
Did your voodoo priest friend like have anything to say about what was down there? Anything going on?
Well,
or?
No,
You know what, we'll save that for the
I
show
think he
in a
wanted to
few
look around. I think, to be honest with you, I think he wanted to keep the shackles that were like bolted to the wall because I think he wanted to use them like in his voodoo.
You wouldn't take him back up to his room and put him on. For
I'd
that
probably use
ghost
them and
massage you're hanging
make
out.
somebody get arrested
I get
with
it.
them or something. Yeah, yeah.
An afterlife party, exactly.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, we actually had the producers that did that movie. They were a year prior to me writing the horror movie, The Overnight, and us doing that. They were working with me and my voodoo priest buddy to do a show. Like, so it was. Here's the fucking funny thing. So we had a show. They wanted to develop this show, and it was called Spirit Junkies. Okay, I think I can say that. I don't know if it's still fucking copyrighted or whatever.
I mean, you're on the indie horror.
I think I can say that. Yeah, I think I can say it.
We're all a bunch of junkies here at this point. It's fine.
Yeah, so at that point in time, we had a restaurant there that we were running out of the hotel. But my buddy would frequently have voodoo clients like fly in or come in and stay in the fucking hotel, and we'd be like in their room at odd hours, like doing like things to like bring them luck or help them get whatever their situation was, like basically correct it, right? So we did this thing called Spirit Junkies, and when they went, so they would film us in there, they would film us, doing some of these rituals and whatnot, and go into the graveyard and things of that nature. And when they went and pitched it, the funny thing is here it is, like my buddies really has done voodoo for 20 something years at this point and shit. And we're really have a fucking restaurant in this place, like everything totally fucking legit. Like you could come in and see that. And these people are like, there's no fucking way this is real. Like there's like, and it was real. So all the scripted television out there that everyone's like, oh, this is real, but it's fake. And here we went in there with something real, and there's just no way this is fucking real.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, I mean, we're like, whatever, we just went on with our lives.
Oh my gosh, voodoo priest, horror movies. I want to circle back around before we hop off to Deadly Endings. I know that you're directing in one of the not an episode, chapter,
segment,
one of the segments.
Shorts.
And Jaron Lewis, who's also cinematographer, editor, is directing one, and then you guys are co-directing the third one. Have you co-directed before?
No.
If not,
we should bring a whole new element.
Are you nervous?
to that segment.
I'm kind of excited to see you.
No, I mean, I think
together. I love collaborations. I think it always brings something new and fresh out that might surprise both of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you're, like the good thing is like if it vibes, like like you're onto something, right? Like you're like, yeah, I mentioned something to him and he mentions it to me and we're like, nah, that ain't it. And he's like, nah, that ain't it. And then I say something, it's like, yeah, fuck that's it. Then you have something, even though it's two people and you could almost, butt heads and there's no third party to bail you out. I think, it's like iron sharpens iron, so they say, so I think it's the project's better for it. But even though we're directing, our individual segment as well, I really think there's going to be that exchange on all of it, because we just want what's best, and that's like, people, come to me and like I said, I'm like one part of it. Like I'm the writer, I'm directing, that's just my role. But without everyone else, I can't do this anyway. You know what I mean? So like, what do I got? Just something on a piece of paper, I might as well just go write a novel and then, call it a day. So I think, that it makes it better for the project to get, other insight. Even if you don't use it, it's better to hear it and not do it than everyone just keep it tight-lipped and not saying anything, because like there could be like a bottle on the, like what's the thing in Game of Thrones where there was like a fucking
the
Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Yeah, like, fucking say something. Just because I'm the director doesn't mean don't tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, there's a thing. You're gonna waste 10 shots, So like, I appreciate when people say something, but also have the tact to say something meaningful, and not just like because they want to be, have their opinion or get their way or whatever. Because then it's like you need to go direct your own thing. Like, not picking on you, but you should probably take that into consideration.
Yeah, there's a fine line when it comes to stuff like that, because like when you're on a set, at the end of the day, you've got X amount of people that are there in front of the camera, behind the camera. You want to try and have a good game plan. You want to try and take care of as much of that as you can in prep. So when you hit set, you're going ahead, you've got your plan together, and you're getting it knocked out because you've got all these people that are sitting around that you're responsible for. That's not the time and place usually 100%. To start talking about, hey, what if we shot it this way, or what if we brought this in, or whatever. A lot of that is just, things can go really, really wrong that way.
And I think, like on Bloodfly, I remember the funny thing is like when I don't get like upset. I'm not like this dictator guy on set, but like there was certain things that, I had some people that were new to the experience on Bloodfly. So like there was definitely some foul mouth, coming out of me. And, the funny thing is a lot of the kids that were in that, like really thought the shit was funny, but I was like mad, like when someone gets mad, but they're kind of like funny mad, but I wasn't intending to be. I was just being like me. And sometimes I say something that's funny, like, and so they
I think that's what keeps us from punching people in the face.
Yeah, but they ended up going back. They ended up going back to the Airbnb, and I think that night, like I was like somewhere else working on the script or something. I can't even remember, but they ended up telling me the next day that they did Richardisms. So they were basically trying to pretend to be me and saying all the shit that I said like the previous day and see who could do it better. So then, so the word got
really
back.
Making your impressions out.
Yeah,
there.
They were like mocking me. So then, but I'm like, like I didn't take it personal. So like when I went and confronted them about it, they were like nervous, like, oh fuck, he's gonna beat us.
Days today I get knocked out.
Yeah. So, but like I said, okay, so I heard you guys were doing this, and they're like, no, it was just like fun, It was just like we had a drink, and and I said, okay, wait, you guys are all gonna do this right now again in front of me. And I said, and whoever I think did the best job, I'm going to buy them whatever fucking lunch they want the next day. So like, I like to have fun, and I didn't take nothing like that personally. It's funny. And when I'm editing and I see all the outtakes of me swearing and shit, like in the outtakes, and stuff, I'm laughing my ass off then too. But in the moment, I'm like, like going crazy.
There you go. I like
you gotta
it.
have some solid BTS on the set for things.
Yeah, I might need one of Amy's hugs at that point to snap me back into reality, or pull me away from everyone else.
I'll be like, and I think he needs a sandwich at this point. He's hangry.
Yeah, not like the sauce at the start.
Well, before we head out, we do have some people that hopped on halfway through the show. So we'll just very quickly let them know where they can find you. Mm-hmm. Richard_Diesel_Harlost, and that's on Facebook, Instagram. You have the Deadly Endings cast and crew movie page on both Facebook and Instagram. You guys are very active. You're always posting.
Yeah, please follow.
Yeah, follow. If you guys have questions, put them in the comments on the thread, on those socials, send messages. March 1st, the Indiegogo is going to drop. So there's a lot of really cool ways to get involved with that. There we go. Again, this is going to be filming in June in Connecticut. Horror anthology, tons of practical special effects. Richard, anything else you wanna add to that before we head out?
Yeah, just make sure you check out Indiegogo. We're launching March 1st. Some great perks, on there. I'm very, very approachable. I'm not jaded by the business yet, so, if someone has a question, even on like Instagram or anything, if they hit me up, I'm pretty good at answering stuff relatively quickly. So
I will say you're very responsive, and I have a lot of respect for that. So
thank you.
We're going to
raise me right.
If you can just hang out for a few minutes for the after show, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us. And
you're welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank
Absolutely.
You so much.
See you in a minute.
All right. Very, very good. I thought you did great, Amy.
Hey,
You're
listen, I don't
natural.
know if you put me in charge, but it was a roll of the dice.
It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for that next episode with the Voodoo Priest. I really can't.
Yep, that's going to be in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that and have a wonderful night, you indie horror junkies.
See ya.